Mesechta Sanhedrin, that pay Amar Aleph is coming from Ayin Testament base. From the Gemara in the Mishnah land, we learned that Ritzich and got mixed up with other people, and we don't know if the other people were Ratzim. So in the Tanakhama said Kulam Turum, that the whole Pater of Yehuda said Kain's nice Lakipa, we bring them all into a room. And we give them Seirim, we give them barley, till the stomach plots, until they pass away. In fact, the Yimaraman, who are the Achirim that the Mishnah says that the Ritzeich got mixed up with them? Elam, if you can say Achirim, are Ksherim, are people who never were Mechuyim in Misa, Shita. Tzadav Pasha, they're all part. How could we even think of killing them all? Vesu. I mean, it's a davar pasha that they should be potter. So what is the Tanakhama coming to teach us? Vesu, and even more so, in such a case, are we telling Rabbi Yehuda, is Rabbi Yehuda going to say that we should bring them all into one room and they should eat barley till they plot, till they pass away? They're anashim kseirim. Is it right to be going to misa for anashim kseirim that didn't kill anybody? Simon Basharak, the Gemara now will give different shatim. And these are simanim for people who give different shatim in the Mishnah. Amar Rabbi Yavo, Amar Shmuel. Rabbi Yavo said the name of Shmuel. Halcha. Over here we're talking about B'Reitzech Shalei Nigma Dinai. B'Reitzech that he didn't have Nigma Din. Shenizarev B'Ratzchim Acherim Shenigma Dinan Aschina. It's talking about with other Ratzchim who they did have a Psak Din. And B'Chlal Rabbanan said, Ein Gein and Din Shalon Olefana. We cannot paskin a din only if it's done in front, specifically this person who we want to punish is in front of us. Therefore they're all pater. Meaning that even if you would bring all 10 together, and we know for all the cases that there were Eidim that testified that he was a Ritzeach, but they didn't come to the Gemad Din. When it comes to the Gemad Din, it has to be in front of the Dayanim. And being that we cannot pinpoint which one is the one that was Shaloi Nigma Dinai, you can't give a psak din between a whole bunch of people when you don't have the specific person in front of you. Rabbi Yehuda, if they're not gamri, namile. Rabbi Yehuda says it's a part of them completely no. Even they're not no. Since they're all ratzim, therefore hilka kain's nice lekipa. Therefore we bring them into a room and we make them eat barley until they all plots away and die. Eshlak shamar, eshlak gives a whole different pshat. So the second one in the simon, the pshat is the Adam, the when it comes to a person, everybody's in agreement that they're all going to be potter if you can't pinpoint which one is the Reitzeach. That was which one is the Reitzeach. And it says even if you're going to say the shot like Shmuel, it says that we have to try to save the people. And if you found a way to do it, we do it. Therefore, everybody will agree that it's but what is the case over here? In the Mishnah, it's talking about that a shoyd that killed a person, and he got mixed up with other shvar, with other oxen, upon which there was nigma dina. That's where they're arguing. Just like all the same halachas that apply to Misas Adam, and since there was a mixture of this person, Shalei Nigma Dina, together with all those that were Nigma Dina, and we have to do the same thing is by Misas Asher. And we can only pass in a din for a shayr that she gets killed only if it's in front of the Rayam, the specific shayr that wasn't Nigma Dina. Therefore, the Tanakhama says the whole pater, Rabbi Yehuda Sava. The Buddha says, listen, they all are rats. I mean, the Shaya did kill a person, and there were Eidos that had come. Just when it came to the Gemad Dina, they got mixed up. It was Nisarav. Nevertheless, he says, the Shaya, the Kuliyam is a Niskil, so therefore we give them to eat until they plats. Amar Rava. Rava said, if the Mishnah is talking about it, it's Seyach, Shalai Nigma Dina, that got mixed up with Atzrim. What is this that we learned from the Mishnah? Rabbi Yasi, that Rabbi Yasi says that the Ritzech and the Sarabachin, they're all potter. Afilu Amma, he says, and Rabbi Yossi said, "Afilu Abba Chalafta meinayim." Even if Abba, my father, Chalafta was between those murderers. L'chayda, he was a. If you're talking about the or Ratzchim, doesn't fit to say Chalafta is between the Ratzchim. And if you're going to say it's referring to Asher, Shalei Nigma Dinai, that got mixed up with the Shvarim that were Nigma Dinai, also doesn't make sense. Because what's hat Abba Chalafta to do with Shvarim? For the Gemara Rava says this, that the Mishnah says that this is the Kavanah of the Mishnah. There were two people that were standing side by side, and an arrow came out between the two, and he killed a person. And we don't know which one, who's the person that threw the arrow that killed the person. They're both pater. Even if it came out of between two people, and amongst the two people was Abba Chalafta, his father Chalafta, who was known to be a chassid, a tzaddik. So we know the murderer is the other guy. Nevertheless, we cannot be mechai of him, and even though we could, by process of elimination, we could clearly know who's the Reitzeach. Sure, that we said that killed Nigmadina, that killed that was Nigmadina that killed a person. That he got mixed up with other shvarim that never killed. We give skila to all of them, because the sheish Nigmadina is asmana, and being that you have a isana between other shvarim, so mitzad tarubes, all the other shvarim became asa. And since there's no loss to the bali shvarim by killing them, so Bezdin gives skila to all of them in order to fulfill the mitzvah skila for a shei that was Nigmadina. Rabbi Yehuda says, Bezdin doesn't have to be matriach to give them a skila. Koin's nicely keep it, rather you bring them all into a room and you feed them seirim. So the Gemara now brings a statement. We also learned in the Braisa, a parah that killed a person, and then he gave birth to a child, to a calf. If before the psak he gave birth to this calf of the Vlad Mutter, the Vlad is Mutter now because it wasn't Nigmadina. But if there was already a psak for skila and it gave birth to a calf, then the Vlad is awesome. If the one that killed got mixed with others, and then these got mixed up with others. So we bring all the behemoths that were all mixed up together with the one that's Chayiv Schila, we keep into a room, and they die on their own. Rabbi Lezer says, we bring it to Bezdin, and there Bezdin gives the skila to all of them. That's the shita of Rabbi Lezer with Rabbi Shimon, and it fits with the Tanakam of our Mishnah. Omar, the Tan of the Braisa Tizakt, a parah that killed and then gave birth to a calf. We said if it was before there was a psak, then and gave birth to a calf, a lot of mataras. The calf is mutter. Even though when it killed the person, it was mubaris together with his blood. Nevertheless, the vlad is mutter. The vlad hanegach is aser. A vlad that gores is aser to use for akrava because it's vlad hanakol because it's considered as the parah together with the vlad gore the person. Vlad hanebaz is aser. A vlad which was sodomized. The mother was sodomized. It's he vlad, the nebu. It's considered as the vlad was nebu, and it's aser to use it as a carbon. And there were, of course, there were two Eidim and a Gicha. And since by the goring, if you killed the person, so we could paskin also for the vlad, that should be misa, or it should be also no. So the Gemara explains the kavanah of the Braisa. Eima say this was the kavanah of the Braisa. Im ad shaloi nigmadin ibra v'yolda. if you're gonna say it was before the psak din that it gave the Vlad was pregnant, and then I mean before the psak din of the para, but after the nekicha it was mava a child, the yolda a calf, the yolda and gave birth to a calf. So the iba and the leba and the leda were between the nekicha and the Gemara din. So Vlad mutter, then the Vlad is mutter. The im meshenig din ibe v'yolda v'Vlad masa. But if there was a Gemara din and the calf was ash, the kapara where ash got pregnant after the negicha, and then it had the Vlad, then it's also because kishenig din the para became asbana, and the Vlad that it was pregnant with later is a creation of that Isa, and therefore it's, that too, the Vlad is also asbana. In fact, the Gemara of them be we said a parash and Saba after the Gemara the Vlad is part of the I'm sorry, it's part of the Zach as well, which is not Asur. So according to the Piddush of the Brayse, even though the Vlad was created with a mixture of Isa v'Hetem, because inside the Para there was a Nigma Dina, so it's Asmana, so the Vlad should be Asmana. Mitzad, the Zacha part that was a Shituf in the creation of the calf, it's Mutter. It's understood according to the Mandama, it's something that's a mixture of Isra that caused it to be created is Asur, is good. That's why it's going to be Asmana. But according to the Mandama, that says that if it's a mixture of good and bad that created the calf, what are you going to then say? Why should the Braisa Asa the Vlad? Over here, the Zacha had a shtatvis in the creation of the calf. So this Isra Heted, you have a Isra Heted that caused the creation. So according to the Mandi Amas that says it's mutter. Why do we say it's Asman? Allah Ravina, rather Ravina says Ema Sedi. This was the kavanah of the Bryce. If before the psak din of that should be chayv skila, and then it had become pregnant with the Vlad, the yod, and it gave birth to a calf. So the iba and the leda was between the negicha and the gemadin. Vlad the mutter, then the Vlad is mutter. If the Vlad was before again, if before the psak din, it was already the baby, the calf was already in the mother's stomach. That means that it was nesabel between the negicha and the gemadin. Yolda, and once there was a gemadin, it gave birth to the calf. Then the also, even though the uber wasn't there at the time of the negicha, nevertheless, since it wasn't the mother at the time of the gemadin, so the psak is applicable also to the uba, because uba yerachimay, uba is part of the thigh of the mother. So we learned in the Mishnah Kol Chayav Misa is that got mixed. We give the lighter punishment. Shmamina, from here we can bring a raya, muslim of a chama, have a muslim of a kal. The Mishnah is coming to teach us that we kill all those that got mixed up with the lighter and the harsher misa. We give them all the lighter misa. Aida Hasa went for the harsher misa. There was no Hasa for the lighter misa. Nevertheless, we kill them all with the lighter misa. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah. So how can we kill them all? So the Gemara says from here's Arayah that once you're Muslim, once they had that asaf for a harsher punishment, so it's considered as if they were warned for the lighter punishment. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah. Rabbi Yirmiyah said we cannot bring a raya from our Mishnah that something that's Muslim l'davar chomer includes a the hasaf for a davar kal. We can't bring a raya because Hakma is over here. Our Mishnah is talking about that the hasaf wasn't a specific punishment. Rather, they warned him that he's going to be chai misa without detailing which Misa? Tanahu. And Al Mishnah learns, like the Tanakama in the following Braisa that holds that you don't have to, by Asa, you don't have to detail what the punishment is. Which Misa is going to be Chai for the Saveda. The Tanya that we learned in the Braisa. When they get to the Chiyah Misas of a Mesis Laveda Zara, that they get killed even without Asra, Ushar Chayav Misas, that you don't punish them only in a bezin of 23. The Eidim, and it has to be Eidim that had seen the Aveda. The Asa, and there was Asa. The Ache Yedi'u Shel Chayav Misas Bezdin, till they notify him that he's going to be Chayav Misas Bezdin, if he'll be Eva. But you don't have to, in the Asa, according to the details that the Braisa gives, you don't have to detail the punishment, what the punishment is. Rabbi Yehuda says, Rabbi Yehuda says, no, until they notify him the specific misa that he's chayiv for that aveda, then it's not going to be considered as asa, as long as he didn't give the specific misa, the specific punishment that he's going to be chayiv, or the type of misa that he's going to be chayiv. Tanakama, who says that you don't have to be mefarish which misa in the asa, you don't have to detail which misa is going to be chayiv. Yoliv, he learns it out mimikoishish. When Mekoshish Eitzim, that other Seib and Slavcha, their father was the Mekoshish Eitzim that gathered Eitzim on Shabbos, the Pumbi, in front of everybody. And they didn't, over there, they didn't give a specific Misa that he's going to be Chayiv. And that's why they put him in a room, they locked him up, till they would figure out which Misa he should be Chayiv. Rabbi Yehuda says he cannot learn out from Mekoshish, because Mekoshish it was only a special command from Hashem, which he can learn out for the generations after. So therefore, we cannot bring a raya that once you musa for a davar chama, it's including a davar kal. We learned in the Mishnah Niskolim in Niskolim that got mixed with those that are chayiv sefer. Reb Shimon says it's neither miskila because the sefer is chamura, so we give the lighter one. The Chacham said they do the sefer because the skila is the chama one. So therefore we give sefer. That's the argument. Whichever one is the lighter one, that's the one we give. That's what the Mishnah wants to say. But they're arguing which one is the lighter one when it comes to sefer and skila. Meaning the Chachamim say sefer is the lighter punishment, and the skila is the more chamadik one, and Reb Shimon says faket that sefer is the more chamadik one, and that's why we need them the skila. The Gemara tells a story. Masnele Rabbi Yecheskel learned to Rami his son the Mishnah in this nusach, and the Sofim and the Skolim. Then the Sofim that got mixed up with those that are chayiv skila. Rabbi Shimon the Yidoinai b'skila will pass him for skila. Sefer chamura because the sefer punishment is more chama. Rabbi Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Yecheskel, said to his father, he said, Abba, don't learn the Mishnah this way, because the mashmais of the Lashon is that Nesafim that got mixed up with many, very few Nesafim that got mixed up with many of that are chayiv skila. Meaning that Neskolim were the Reiv and the Nesafim were the Miyut, and therefore we went after the Reiv. In fact, why did Reb Shimon choose to say that the reason why we're passing with skila mishum the sefer chamura, because sefer is mochama, Bezdin cannot remove a inish chama or hasha chama than what he's deserving. The Ruben Eskolno say that this din is because of a different reason, because the Reiv wasn't of a skila and cannot pass him Kulam Sefer if the Mises is skila and the Sefer, let's say